Alright, we got 1 week under our belt, a whole slate of games. We have a lot of clips to get through, so just going to roll right into it. We may have to break this up into 2 different videos. We'll see how long this takes, but I try to keep them between 15 and 20 minutes, so hopefully we won't have to split this up. So we had a lot of blindside blocks around the state this past week. Some we got, some we missed. So let's look at one. This is a field goal attempt. This is not an extra point. So this is a live ball. And we got one right there. Guy coming with a brick in his hand. And he's just going to take him out. So that is an illegal blindside block. You know, no open hands. That was forceful contact, and he doesn't see it coming. Same game. You'll have a different look. Right here behind the line. This is also an illegal blindside block. You can tell, see how he can get that kind of ragdoll effect when he's hit. That's a pretty good indication that the defender does not see it coming. And there's no open hands. And it is forceful contact. So this, as well, is a illegal blindside block. Remember, you can have a blindside block that's legal. It doesn't have those 3 criteria, then it's an illegal blindside block. The criteria being open hands, forceful contact, and the defender doesn't see it coming. If it doesn't meet it, if there's one of those criteria is not met, then you can't have an illegal blindside block. Another one right there. So there's 78 in the gray. He's going to deliver one there. Now, this one can get iffy. The way the hand comes out, you can kind of make the argument, well, he saw it coming. But his attention, the defender's attention needs to be on the block. It can't just be he kind of sees out of the corner of his eye, he senses it. His attention needs to be focused on this block. So in that instant, yeah, he sticks his hand out there, but his attention's not on the block. So this should still be an illegal blindside block. Right here we're going to have another one in the open field. You can see it coming there. Remember, it's always, anytime you have a guy kind of running against the flow of traffic, we should have a radar up. He's going to deliver it right there. Again, forceful contact, no open hands. Number 1 does not see that coming. That should be an illegal blindside block. I think we flagged it. Maybe. It looked like he was trying to get his flag up. Oh, that's a beanbag. Yeah, we should have flagged that. That's probably the Deep's call. Here we're going to have one opening kickoff. Here we have my alma mater making their weekly training debut. We're going to have an illegal blindside block right there. No open hands. Doesn't see it coming. Forceful contact. And it springs. It's a big run, big return. So most of the time, blindside blocks are going to happen with big gains like that. So yeah, we didn't cheat like that when I played there. I promise you. Alright, here's a kickoff. Remember several years ago we instituted a new rule, you have to have 4 on each side of the kicker. We had a presentation on this at the camp as well. Well, not on the entire thing, but it was shown a couple. It's when the kicker kicks the ball, 4 on each side. So you can see right when he kicks that ball, we have 3 on his left side, his right side. Now, I mean, they can line up this way, and then one guy comes over here, and the ball's kicked, and that's fine. When the ball is kicked, when foot hits leather, he has to have 4 on each side. And the wing throws this flag. The needs come from the R, and that we kill this play immediately. So as soon as foot hits the ball, if he's got 3 or less than 4 on one side, kill it, flag it. It's a 5-yard penalty. Look at some DPIs here. Here we have a DPI call right there, and it is the right call, but it comes from the wrong official. This needs to come from at least the wing, maybe the deep, probably the wing. So it comes from this headline judge down here at the bottom. Headline judge has this guy. Then when he goes in motion, he moves to the tackle. Tackle is probably a little more important for him right now, especially with a possible hold right there. In fact, I think you do have a hold. Feet are beat. And we got holds coming later this training video, but feet are beat. What are his hands and arms doing? You got a possible hold here that goes missed because our headline judge is calling the DPI on the other side of the field. Again, it's the right call, just the wrong official making that call. Especially when we have this going on, which could be a possible hold. It's kind of a big miss. Remember, we do not have uncatchable ball. So, balls in the air, possibly intended. We don't know who the intended receiver is. Could be 21, could be 15. Doesn't matter. We got a ball in the air, and the receiver is interfered with. So that should be a defensive pass interference. Here we're going to have another one right across the middle as well. And we cannot just go through the receiver like this. But this is a crew of 6, so over the middle quickly like that, that's a hard one to get. That would be the headline judge's key. Maybe a deep sees it and can pick it up, especially since you got field judge has got no one on his side, so he kind of should go in the zone. Maybe he sees that, but that is pass interference. Alright, we're going to have injection with targeting. And targeting with an ejection. And there it is. So the hit itself does not rise to the level of ejection. It is targeting. But the actions after the play, that's what's going to get you. Alright. If they stand over, and we preached on this a little bit last year and the year before. If they're going to lay a targeting hit like that and then stand over and taunt, then they're gone. I mean, we're not going to pansy around with that. So even if the hit itself does not rise to the level, if they're going to do that, little taunt, stand over, then they're gone. Because that kind of shows that they have no interest in breaking up the pass or trying to make a tackle. He was just trying to punish this receiver. Did it illegally, so it's going to cost him the rest of this game and the next game. Still in that same vein of taunting. Heck of a hit here. Good play. Standing over just a little too long there. When they deliver a hit like that, if they're going to stand over the player and kind of look down on them like that, then that's 15 yards. That's how fights happen. So they're going to stand over and taunt like that. Even if they don't say anything, they're just going to stand over like that. It's 15 yards. Again, that's how fights happen. Let's look at some intentional grounding. This was easy. He's not trying. He's just trying to get rid of the ball. He has no intention of throwing this to a receiver. So in the grass like that, when they're in the grass, we give a little bit of leeway, unless it's like this and it's just obvious. He's just trying to dump the ball. So good call for intentional grounding there. Here's another one. Again, you know, in the grass, we give a little bit of leeway, but there's absolutely, well, he's not even in the grass when he throws it. He's just trying to get rid of the ball. There's no one in that vicinity. So, good call, intentional grounding there. This was a little dicier. Maybe give a little more leeway on this one. So now he's in the grass. And he just kind of launches it toward the bleachers. You know, if you got a eligible receiver in the area, maybe give this one some leeway. See how he's kind of, again, if they're in the grass and it's close to a receiver, give him a little bit more leeway, because obviously if someone's pulling at you, it's going to throw off your aim. Unless it's just obvious he's dumping it. This one, it's not as obvious. You know, there's some reasonable doubt there. You do have an eligible receiver in the area. I mean, if he launches it 4 rows up in the stands here, then yeah, that's intentional grounding. There's some leeway there. Alright, Deeps. We'll wait a little bit too longer to start turning there. Remember, we preached in camps. At the snap, take 1 or 2 read steps, start walking back. But when you got a receiver or a runner and he breaks the linebackers and he's off the takeoff, then we need to turn and run. So right here, we should just turn and run. And we get here and we hadn't even, now we turn and run and he's 9 yards from us. Doesn't matter how fast you are, how fast you think you are, we're not going to outrun these kids, especially when they have a head start and we're flat-footed. So, I mean, you almost got taken out there. So, let's, remember, take that 1 or 2 read step, start working your way back. Remember, we want to stop at the goal line, just get a little bit of field presence. Again, read step, and start just backpedaling. We should already be at the goal line waiting on this play. And then stop stationary and give your signal. We don't want to overrun the goal line there. This is what we're talking about. Let's see, watch this deep at the snap. He's going to take 1 or 2 read steps back. That's what we want. I probably would have just, you know, gotten to the goal line quicker. Here we stop a yard or 2 short. Once you kind of realize you have a play coming at you, then start your back pedal, get to the goal line, and then we can be at the goal line making this call. This is a call we want to make at the goal line. Standing at the goal line, watching this play develop. Then we can make the call. The read steps are good. I like that. That's what we want. Just don't stop till you're at the goal line. In here, watch, good read step, stops at the goal line. This is pretty good. So he's at the goal line, he's kind of reading what's going on. He has a pass, realizes the goal line is no longer going to be a threat, and then kind of move our way toward the end line. Again, it kind of stopped when we're going to make when we have a play, but I like there. You know, realizes goal line is no longer the threat, moves off. Good patience here. I like that we're at the goal line. My only thing is let's back up a little bit more. maybe I would at least have your heels on this restricted area. I would put my toes, but at least the heels. And then we're not as close. Alright, you got a little bit of distance there. You can see things. You got a heck of a play. You got a little bit of distance if you're backed up here, so you can see this better. You're not as on top of it. But good call, good job of moving, kind of turning with the players and making that signal while you're facing them. The only nitpick there was back up a little bit more off the goal line, off that power line. Not too bad here. I would like a bit more of a read step at the snap. You can watch a shadow there at the bottom. Maybe a bit more of a read step. Good job staying with that key. And otherwise, not too bad. You're at the goal line. You're waiting, watching all that. You know, nothing too bad there. As far as the late hit goes on this, you know, just kind of, it's a little dicey. Just kind of play it with the game. If the game has seemed kind of iffy at that point, you know, maybe talk to them. But, you know, it's not terribly egregious there, but it's a little, you know, maybe a bit unnecessary. Good job here, too. Deep. Don't move off this goal line unless we have to. Crew 6, we're not moving off till we have to. Probably would have stayed just a bit longer until I knew for sure the goal line wasn't going to be the threat. But otherwise, it's pretty good there. Alright, watch these two guys in motion. This is a good call for legal procedure. They're not set. If we called it. I hope we did. But yeah, they're not set. You got one still moving, and then he moves. They would have if they both get set for a second, we're good. But neither one of them were. Alright, back to my alma mater. Same thing here. I mean, you gotta be set. I know he's in position, but let's get set. He's still kind of rocking there. Yeah, good call. You know, if you're gonna get set, you're gonna get set. It's not just in position. You need to be set. Alright, let's watch the action on the punter. Good call for roughing the kicker. He doesn't make contact with the ball. You know, I know he already started his dive and all, but if you're going to do that, you got to make contact with the ball. He just takes him out. That's dangerous play on the kicker. So good call there. There's another one. Probably this is running into. I wouldn't call this one roughing. But, you know, there's no attempt. That one, there's no attempt to play on the ball. He just kind of knocks him down. So, gotta protect our kickers, guys. A couple of things on this one. Let's count our players in the backfield. We got 4. He's off. There's the center's tail. If you draw a line, he's not even touching it. His head's probably about right there. He's nowhere near touching it. So, he's off. You gotta be clearly on, clearly off. So this should be 5 in the backfield. Then they flag a legal procedure. Maybe a legal formation. But, and then, let's go to tight view. So you can watch the action on the kicker. This was a little tougher to call because you kind of make the argument maybe he was blocked into him. But it looks like he's pretty unabated. So maybe you get a running into there as well. But we do have a good call on the legal formation because he's not on. Clearly on or clearly off. You have a weird one. I wish we had a tighter angle, but this is what we got. I like this as an incomplete pass. You know, not really sure what's going on here. But with that, let's go with in this kind of situation, we're gonna go with incomplete. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens there, but good job the referee coming in and selling that immediately. Leaves no doubt. Good job here, this punter. When he feels this ball and possesses it, his knees on the ground. And that's one of those, you're back there, you see it, you're kind of like, wait, what just happened? So sometimes those take a bit to process, but you know, this should be down at the 45. So it'll be our ball right there at the 45. And it looks like they called it. That's what they called it. This one right here is a little iffy. You could have blocked below the waist, but I don't think that's what he was going for. I think he's going for the tackle. So I think that's a good pass on block below the waist. But this here, I like this as a no call. This is not a horse collar. He just kind of, you know, there's no flag for tackling by the head like that. You know, he's just trying to make a tackle and just kind of goes for a ride. You know, there's no abrupt change of direction that could put his knees in jeopardy or anything like that. So, you know, it's a weird tackle. It looks bad, but it's not illegal. Deeps. You got a good field goal. Both of you go up. You know, only on misses are we having one signal and one not. If it's good, we're both going up. Alright, let's talk about holding for a bit. Let's look at the end zone angles. A little bit better view here. I can't remember which guy I was looking at. Alright, right here. This, our right guard. So we look at what happens when the feet are beat. And here, he's got good feet until now when he doesn't have good feet. So once his feet are beat, what does he do? He's going to grab him by the jersey and just take him down. So that would be a takedown hold. It should have been called. You know, that's the guard center tackle. That's your umpire. But yeah, remember, what happens when those feet are beat? Again, same thing. What's going to happen when his feet are beat? This one you got kind of a double team. Double team, you get a little more leeway, but you know, coming in across the head like that, and I think he's okay there. I really want to watch the end right here. He's going to kind of come through. Feet are beat. You got a quarterback in the pocket. What happens? You're just going to kind of take him down. That way. So that would be grab and restrict. Should have had a hold there as well. Remember, what happens when the feet are beat? Here we're going to have a holding call. And I don't know who threw it. I don't see anything worthy of a hold. Maybe that. Maybe. But I don't know. My problem with that is, if we're going to call that, then we have to call the previous two. And it's not so much, and this is where the coaches, with their ire with us, really kind of gets to them. It's not so much they think we're cheating. And you hear, well, it's unfair. It's not so much that, but they want consistency. And that the consistency goes to both ways. So, I don't. If this coach had gripe, I don't think he did. I don't think he's saying anyone's cheating. It's just inconsistency. We're not going to call. We have some pretty blatant holes. Those first two we just watched. And we pass on those, but then we throw something here on a big gain, and it's just kind of like, well, it's not very consistent. And that's kind of where these coaches' ire comes from. And I get it. We need to strive to be consistent. Alright, here we're going to have a call for a late hit out of bounds. And now understand, full speed, this may look worse than it actually is. But this is not a late hit out of bounds. The contact happens while he's in bounds. And he's kind of already, you can't say the runner's given up. It's not a quarterback. Is it a quarterback? Yeah, it is a quarterback. But he's a runner at this point. And he really hasn't given himself up. He's a runner right now. And the tackle, the hit, all happens in bounds. There's no extra action after the hit while he's out of bounds to constitute a late hit. So this is a clean tackle that we flagged for late hit. Just need to be a little cognizant of stuff like that. I mean, if he's already started his dive right there and it's not obvious the runner's going out of bounds, then you want to let that go. Alright, last play. This should be offensive pass interference. Remember, the defender has a right to the ball, just like the receiver does. So you kind of got a ball hung in the air. It's not very well thrown. It's not poorly thrown. Both these players have a shot at this ball. And you have the receiver kind of grabs the defender and pushes him down. And that ball doesn't land too far from the defender. The defender had a good shot at catching that ball. And it was illegally interfered with. Alright, so that should have been offensive pass interference. Alright, that's it for this week. So there's a lot of plays. First week of the season, teams are sloppy, officials are rusty, so stuff like this is going to happen. So, if you got plays, send them in. We'll look at them. Big shout out to GFOA in Northeast Georgia this week, sending us a lot of clips. So, good luck this season.